All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am here with the first ever, I'm going to say live, it's not live, we're recording it, but first ever live Threads of Time podcast, and who better to do it with than the man of the league, the big Bigdbpimpin1. Welcome to the podcast.
All right, thanks for having me on.
I don't know if I can call it a podcast anymore now. It's like a video podcast. We're moving up in the world.
I know, you're Joe Rogan in training now.
I know, I'm trying. You don't know it, but I got a separate camera angle going on right now too, right back that way. It's not on you though. It's just on me. It's just like this third camera view. It's something that Piggy told me I need to start doing to enhance my production value. Yeah, I don't know. But see, you know what? We were just talking about before we started the podcast that I was going to try and make it easier on myself, less editing, less whatever, so I'm more likely to do it. Now I got another camera. I'm going to try and edit that shit in. I don't know what I'm thinking, man. It's like self-destructive properties. Like I eliminate one thing to add something else. I don't know.
Well, I mean, sometimes it's better to have too many options, because having so many options, sometimes it gives you the motivation to want to make a better product. You know, if you keep doing the single camera thing, eventually it might get stale on you a little bit. Or
are you talking about women right now? Because you know, you have one woman, man, it just gets stale. If you have a multitude of options, you keep it fresh. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. So when you went from no cameras,
right,
which is what you're on right now in your own relationships,
right,
no women. See now in the video chat, you're realizing I not only need one camera, but I need two.
Yeah.
Which is foreshadowing that eventually you're just going to have a, polymorous relationship or whatever they call them now.
Polyamorous? Like, I'm going to have the camera from The Matrix where there's like 122 of them in a circle. It's like 72 virgins. Maybe the Muslims were right all along.
They might have been.
They might have been, man. So anyways, thanks for coming on. I don't know why we didn't hook this up earlier. Did I ask you for the podcast earlier and you couldn't do it?
No, it wasn't anything like that.
I don't know. We just didn't do it. So, man, long overdue. I'm glad we're doing it. I'm glad we're making history. First ever video podcast. And since we have the video podcast, there's no better way to start. The only surprise I have for you today is since we're on video, I just got to stand up for a second here. Oh, what is that? What is that? What's going on there? Man, it's heavy. Oh. Woo! I feel kind of guilty even wearing it because I have not earned it yet.
Mm-hmm.
But I had to bring the belt to the podcast. Let me show the camera number 3 over here. Boom. That glittery bitch. I notice you've been trading a lot. You're trying to win this thing.
I'm motivated. Yeah.
This thing is a monster. It's heavy too. I don't know. It probably weighs 170 pounds. Or 5 pounds.
We talked about it before a little bit. That when whoever wins it, we're wanting people to take pictures with them.
Got to do it.
And you got to do a pose. And I had mentioned one thing about a sumo wrestler type thing, but if recently, I don't know if anybody listens to the Mike and Mike show at all on ESPN. Mike Golick lost a bet, and he had to imitate the Kim Kardashian pose as a result.
Oh, the butt pose.
The break the internet pose, and
with his pants off.
Well, they put a big silver bow over his butt, but he had a garbage bag on the bottom half of it. And I'm sitting there thinking, if I put that title belt right there, but then I have to find somebody to oil me up and.
Dude, yeah, you're gonna have to just keep winning that belt. I'm not sure if the next guy's gonna want it passed on after you're using it as the sensor over your ass crack. But you got to do it, man.
Got to do something.
Yeah, you get, and then you also get to inscribe that little placard with whatever you want. I have some good ideas for that too. Yeah, man, I'm excited about. I'm irrationally excited about this belt. So,
I think plenty of people are, and like I said, I mean, you could tell Normally, I don't try to make the type of trades I've been trying to make lately. Short-term rental type guys, selling out the future type deals, but I want to be the first one to put my hands on that belt.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm now that I showed it, I'm not going to touch that belt again. I'm going to clean it, and then I'm putting it away because I have not earned it. I want it to be special when I pull it out. And I just say, I got you, bitch. You're mine. And I'm going to make love to it on camera.
You think you got a legitimate shot this first season?
Yeah, I did. Well, I think so. I don't know. My offense is going to be out of sight, but my pitching's pretty suspect. I got one guy at the top, Sterling Pound, who is ace type pitcher, but he's not maxed yet. And then I have a number 2 that's probably your number 4 or 5, and then a bunch of question marks. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with the pitching. Speaking of pitching, you don't have any question marks at the top of your rotation. You have 2 $7 million guys. and you know what? I was looking at it this morning. You have 2 $7 million guys, and you're still like $6 million under the cap.
Yeah.
How does that happen?
It happens when your offense is pretty awful and you rely on too many defensive specialists that aren't that special.
Yeah.
I have a shortstop that's 33 years old. He's like 73 range, so he's like $200,000. And then a second baseman, 80 range, about $300,000, and a center fielder with 84 range is like $150,000.
Yeah.
And like 1 or 2 bats that can hit, and that's about it. So I've been kind of looking for a little bit of offense, but
I feel like you've kind of mastered the CBA and mastered the $60 million cap the past few seasons because you've had it pretty well figured out.
Yeah, I've always liked the financial side of the game. Even way back, I only get an asterisk in the history of scrub farming, but
you get more than an asterisk.
Yeah, I was a co-conspirator
on
a lot of things.
Yeah.
You know, I remember one of the things I learned with Kaz one time was we were doing a trade back and scrub farming thing, and I noticed that because at the time I was under the cap. And part of scrub farming is you want to get the highest salary free agent you can auto sign, so you can trade that salary back out. If I put free agent bids on the lowest salary guys, those guys wouldn't sign. It'd be the next lowest salary guy that didn't have a bid on it. So it was a way to kind of hack the auto sign system.
Say that one more time.
Okay, let's say I have all the cap space I need. Your team is $5 million over the cap. We're going to scrub farm. You're going to send me what however it is we do it. But when you trade 3 guys for my 1 guy, you end up getting 2 auto signs.
Right.
Those 2 auto signs are usually going to be either a hitter or a pitcher, whoever's the lowest salaried guy on the free agent list. But those auto signs will not sign with you if they already have a free agent bid on them.
Oh, yeah. I do remember this. Yeah.
So by me being $10 million under the cap, what I could do was put a quick bid on everybody at the low end of the free agent list, and Kaz would get a $850,000 auto sign and a $900,000 auto sign instead of a pair of 350s.
Yeah.
Which is just kind of accelerated.
You would put a bid in on every guy you could up till the point where it said you're going to hit the cap. But right. You already had a trade on the table, so you could still accept that, go over the cap, and he would get the scrubs.
Yeah, he would get higher salary scrubs. It just made it. It made it a little quicker to do that. I think Gad knows about it as well. So
does it still work?
I believe so.
We're breaking stories.
I was gonna do it when you did Charlie Foxtrot.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, "Oh, it's gonna be a mad dash on the free agents." Yeah. And the hack I was gonna do, and I never did it because I just couldn't find the time to get to coordinate it. I was gonna get somebody to work with me and do exactly that. Put bids on all the crap guys, and then do trade backs and auto sign all those superstars.
Actually, it would have worked really well in that league because one thing that I didn't anticipate happening is everybody was getting somebody else to take a team and then have that be the scrub salary team, so they could actually put those bids in all the way up to the highest guys, and then so you could auto assign people instantly in that sense and not have to get into a bidding war.
That's right. That's right.
If it happened quick enough.
Yeah. If you were lucky enough to see the superstars be added to the free agent list before anybody else did.
That's awesome. Yeah, I don't know why. That I really wish I would have kept going with that league, because I thought it was interesting. It was exposing all sorts of fuckery that you could do. I really liked that league. I just kind of quit paying attention to running it. But I think if we kept it going, it's a great place to exploit stuff like that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I love knowing those little things. I don't actually use any of them. I've learned these hacks over the years, but because there's no fun in it for me, obviously. But that's just like overloading low miners. Back I learned how to do that before I ever got to TCL.
Yeah.
There was an owner called Bo Fulgen, or Coach Bo Fulgen.
Yeah, I've heard that name.
Yeah, well, I knew him from the old Weeble boxing game, and we got together in a league, and he said, "Do these trades with me." He said, "Is it going to put all these players in my low minors?" And he ended up having something like 45 players in his low minors. And I said, I'm learning a little something today. So.
Yeah, it wasn't really a hack, but it took me a while to adjust to the hard cap, because the one thing that I did have mastered was getting those teams up to 77, 80 million, and there's just no way people could compete with that. And when I was going on that 5 years World Series run, twice I went on a 5-year World Series run, it was always because of I wouldn't even say, manipulating the system with trade backs to get more of those $3 and $4 million guys, and all of a sudden, how are you going to compete with a team that had $4 or $5 million pitchers and a $4 million pitcher, and then Jimmy Seymour?
It was when Brian made it so that when you were over the cap, you could still trade as long as your salary was lower. That's when that broke loose.
I'm pretty sure that was Ken's idea too, if I remember correctly.
I can't remember who. I remember when it came up, Brian finally said, "Yeah, let's do that," and then
it did seem like a good idea.
Yeah, but then it helped dynasties, is what it did.
Yeah.
Teams that used to be you had to get under the cap to do any transactions. Now you could do all sorts of transactions.
And the other thing that it helped that I found that I've had a lot of tough time with the hard cap is getting scrubs to get development and drills, because back then what you would do is you'd trade for one of those $4 million guys, and then you'd have them add a few scrubs to it so to make the salary work, so you were only dropping $100,000 in salary or $200,000 in salary, because you could make more trades, and all of a sudden you had a AAA full of guys that you could do whatever with.
Yeah. It's, like I said, the hard cap makes it a different ball game for sure. But I really miss the old $50,000 and $75,000 scrubs a lot.
Yeah.
I used to have guys that they get 5 at bats a year for like 13 seasons sometimes. I used to love having them guys on my team.
They were just happy to be collecting a paycheck. Oh my God, that's good. So we're talking about trading a little bit, and so I'm not going to bury the lead here, because I want to talk about this Haley trade that we were talking about before we got started.
Right.
Just give everybody else listening the background on this Haley trade.
Well, it was me, McKilla, and Reds, and Reds had Ronald Haley, who's a one of the better two-way shortstops we've had in the last 30 seasons or so, and who else was it? Owen Thompson was the pitcher I had, and I think I'd gotten him from Joe Blow or somebody like that early on. And Owen Thompson turned into a pretty good pitcher. And I think McKilla had a team, and he had some low picks. And he wanted Thompson. I think Reds was thinking about rebuilding, but Haley was like a 26-year-old shortstop. And I wanted him because, I want shortstops to range, period. So we worked out the trade, but at the same time, something else was going on, some sort of controversy in the league. Either in the league.
Our league? A controversy?
Possibly.
Oh.
Possibly.
We don't get as many anymore, but
No. We've softened up over time. We're the man now. The Reds was pissed off at somebody, or I can't remember. He was Reds raging, and
Reds
raging? What?
Yeah.
Yeah, and me and Matt were talking to, and I have a very long fuse. I mean, I stay pretty even keeled. I don't blow up and get angry. And I kid you not, I don't remember what it was. It might have been a CBA2 thing or whatever. The Reds pissed me off so bad. If I could see him in person, I would have slapped him in his face and choked him out.
Snapped him out?
Yeah. And then, bought him a beer afterwards. But
you would have gotten to show your pimp hand for real.
Absolutely. Oh, man, let me tell you a side note real quick on pimping. You sent me the greatest present ever. And people don't realize the stuff you do sometimes. Sent me an actual pimp cup, and I shit you not, my daughter slammed a door on my desk, and the cup fell and broke.
No!
Oh, it broke my heart. It broke my heart.
Oh, no.
I think I've got a picture of it on Instagram of the actual cup.
I didn't know how it turned out because I never got to see it.
Oh my God, it's great. It's and I still have the card actually, but I have an Instagram account, same handle I use on everything else, Bigdbpimpin1, and you can see the pimp cup in all of its glory, short-lived glory.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly when that came about, but it was sometime before your birthday, I think, and I happened to see it on the internet that you could customize these pimp cups. I was like, that is the greatest thing ever. So I went there. I was like, I'm gonna get myself a pimp cup. And so I'm going through them, and I was like, I'm gonna get a pimp cup. So I customized it. It just said pimpin' on it, I think, and in like gold. I don't know. I bedazzled some gold on it or something.
That's right. Yeah, it was a black cup, and it was bedazzled in gold. It was awesome.
That's funny.
It definitely made my day. I'm gonna tell you that.
That's funny. I did. You know what's funny about that is I actually did get myself a gift that day. Instead of the pimp cup, I got it on right now. I turn it on whenever I start a podcast. It's like my on-air light, and it's this right here. It's Buddha with lightning coming out of his brain.
That's awesome.
That is Buddha. That's where I started saying that. It's Buddha.
That'll
literally
be
Buddha.
That I'll hold the title belt over my head like that and put on a Buddha outfit for you. After I win the belt this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh man, Buddha belt. Ah, that's good stuff. So, when is your birthday?
May 8th.
May. So it was this year that happened, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
May 8th. Man, it's been a crazy year, huh?
I've had the most interesting 2 years of my life by far. And honestly, actually, it goes a little farther back than that because for those of y'all that don't know, I've been separated and just recently, actually this past Monday, found out that my divorce is final. Was separated for a year, starting last August, and 6 months before that went through counseling and then 4 or 5 months before that I think was the Minnesota trip.
Yeah. It couldn't have been. Well, yeah.
Years ago?
It was August of 12. Yeah, August of 12.
Yeah. So little, like I said, it's been an interesting 2 years.
So you must have not. So you got separated, but you didn't make it public for a while. I don't think, because I don't think, or at least I didn't know. I don't know. Maybe
I did. I think I mentioned a few people knew. I actually talked to PR a lot then, and Ken. I talked to Ken some. Talked to Kaz a lot actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kaz is a real good guy.
Yeah.
And they all helped me a whole lot, because I didn't see, it was. I thought I've been married 18 years at the point. And I just, I want to say I didn't see it coming, but in hindsight I did, and just ignored it, And the 6 months of counseling helped a whole lot. And the separation cleared my head a lot too. And, it's not, like most people go through ugly divorces, and it wasn't ugly at all. I mean, very amicable. We got our co-parenting stuff situated and all. So as far as divorces go, it's not bad.
And how many? You have 2 kids, right?
Yeah, 10-year-old and a 5-year-old.
Boy and a girl, right?
Boy and a girl.
What are their names?
Mason and Mayan.
Mason?
Remember, I was live broadcasting when my daughter was born.
No, I don't remember that.
No, it was in the TCL forums. I remember.
I'll have to go back and look at that.
Yeah, this is a while ago. Yeah, but I think Aztecs made a joke about the Mayan name. He was like, if you're going to pick an Indian tribe name,
The Aztecs.
Something along those lines. I think Clone might remember it too. I think I just had a form and I was in the waiting room, or it was, labor or delivery or whatever it was, and I had my laptop, and every now and then I'd pop on and say something.
That's cool. So she's 5.
Yeah, turned 6 on January 1st.
Yeah. So what's the custody arrangement? How often do you get them?
Exactly half the time. I pick them up from school every Monday and Tuesday, and they spend the night with me. She picks them up from school every Wednesday and Thursday, and they spend the night with her. And then every other Friday, I pick them up from school. Every other Friday, she picks them up from school, and they stay with us that weekend. And whoever they spend the night with drops them off. So what it ends up being is 5 days on, 5 days off, 2 days on, 2 days off.
Yeah.
Over a 14-day period, it's split.
All right. Now be candid with me for a second.
All right.
I know, marriage, you want all that to go well, everything great, but tell me you're not enjoying some weekends off.
Oh, I'm enjoying. Listen,
you're enjoying the whole thing, right?
Yeah, I'm enjoying the whole thing. The emotional part of it early on was tough. Because your world's changing. Your world's changing.
Yeah.
As you get into it, you realize a couple things. At least I realized a couple things. Number one, the most heart-wrenching thing was not being able to be with my kids every night. But now the time that I have with them, it's a higher quality grade of time.
Yeah. I'm
a lot more focused on doing, interacting and all that kind of stuff. And number two, having 5 days off in a row sometimes where I'm just basically a single guy with no obligations, it's Buddha.
It is Buddha. That's right. That's right. Yeah, it's kind of a weird thing, but I think as humans we crave freedom. And, sometimes that freedom comes at the expense of guilt, where you feel like, man, I want to enjoy this, but at the same time I feel like, I'm not living up to an expectation of my kids or my wife or whatever it is. And those conflicting emotions, they screw with people's heads sometimes.
Yeah, I agree with that. I've noticed that the biggest hangover of having a family is that the quiet times at home can freak you out a little bit, because you got what you got to understand with me anyway is I went from high school, and college is like high school again. You got a roommate and all that kind of stuff. I was married my second year of college. So I've never lived as a single guy for basically my whole life, So this is brand new to me. I've never lived alone.
You got to be careful not to go wild.
Yeah. I'm a little too old to go wild anymore.
No, you're never too old. Yeah.
It's been interesting. It's an interesting adjustment. The 2 days off without the kids are easy. There's a Wednesday night and a Thursday night. I play at the computer. I play more video games than I used to. It's when I start to get towards the third and fourth day on the 5 days without them that it gets, it can get a little funky, because the house, like I said, I'm not used to a quiet house. So I have to get down and do stuff.
Did she move out or did you move out?
She moved out.
Okay, so you're living in a big house right now when you're alone, right?
Yeah, 2,000 square feet of, quiet.
You ever think about downsizing that?
I do, but I'm just not in a good situation to do something like that. Like I said, I had to wait for the divorce to get final before I could do anything.
Yeah.
And it's a consideration, but the house don't owe me much, so I'm not too worried about it.
Yeah. Because how far are you outside of DC?
About 3 hours.
Oh, you're further than I thought then.
Yeah, I'm halfway between Richmond and Virginia Beach, the ocean. So,
Yeah.
in the middle of farmland and pig farms, and yeah, there's not much going on out here. Like I said, the town I live in is the largest town in my county, and it's 2,200 people.
Oh wow, that's small.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
everybody knows everybody.
Absolutely.
Well, if everybody gets to know you, how did you not get voted in to the council? If everybody knows you, to know you is to love you, you should have been a shoo-in.
I thought I was, and I know part of my problem is that and most guys I think are like this. You like to do stuff on your own a lot of times. Sometimes you want the fruit of your labor to be from only your labor.
Mm-hmm.
And I could have relied on my family members to do some campaigning, some canvassing for me, and things like that. And I didn't. I just said I'm going to do it on my own, and 7 votes short, and that's the way the cookies
7 votes short.
7 votes.
What was the total vote count?
Something like I think 600 people voted, and it was something like 256 was the 5th place person, and I was the 6th place person at 249.
So how does that work? So and the top 2 people do a runoff or something?
No, it was for a town council seat, so there's 5 seats.
Oh, so just the top 5 win. Everybody runs against each other.
Yeah, top 5 vote getters get in. So and I get asked a lot to run again and stuff, but I'm just not interested in it. And
so the person that finished ahead of you did 7 votes ahead of you. How? Yeah. Just since we're on camera, we're on record. Just tell us how awful a person they are. Just all the dirt you know on them. Let's just get it. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do that. Don't do that.
I'm already forming the speech in my head, but
yeah. Okay, so we were talking about freedom earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I think freedom is like the most cherished thing that you can have on earth. Doing whatever you want to do whenever you want to do it. It's not. I don't consider it necessarily a selfish thing unless you consider everything a selfish thing, because that's really everything that you do in one way or another. Even the generous parts of us are selfish.
Right.
Why would you ever want to get into politics when your face is out there? It traps you a little bit in your ability to conduct yourself in public. You can't go anywhere without people knowing who you are or what you stand for, or et cetera, et cetera. Why even want to get involved in that?
Well, I think at the local level, it's politics at the town and municipality level is not nearly as bad as it is once you get above that. We start getting to state level stuff and then national level stuff. The reason I want to get into it is I've lived here for 10 years and I grew up here, so I actually care about what happens to the area I'm in, and it's small enough an area that I feel like even me just being one person and one voice can actually have an actual impact on things.
Yeah.
We're not talking about some, a 1,000,000-person city or something like that where, a city council, there's only so much you can do. I know, 75% of the people in town have seen them face to face at some point or another. So, and the town that I live in, it's a poor community, high poverty rate, poor education rates. So there's a lot of growth potential for the town if people actually did some work. So I wasn't worried about people wondering, talking about you, talking behind your back, or wondering, making rumors up about you, anything like that, because I really don't give 2 shits about what anybody says about me. But so I only worry about the things that I can do where I can, where I can help people, and I like helping people.
I'm surprised that you said that the town has high poverty. In a small town like that, that's not typical, is it?
No, but you see, this is an old South town. I mean, it's in the middle of peanut and hog country. It's all farmland. Let's see here, and it's the only. Well, I don't want to say that. We still have people using outhouses out here.
Mm.
not just in the town. I'm talking about in the county. I mean, even the county, it's the fourth largest county land-wise in the state of Virginia, but it only has 20,000 people in it. And 10% of that is in a prison. So, yeah, we have a maximum security prison, a medium security prison, and we also have the state's electric chair at the other end of the. But
sounds like a great place to live. I don't know why you would ever think about leaving.
That doesn't even count the fact that the largest elevation in the county is the regional dump. Okay, so
the garbage pile. If you stand on top of that, that's Waverly's Mountain.
Yeah, we have it. And the bad part is, all the trash in that mountain is pretty much from like New York City, or so you might even say that 10% of the land mass isn't even from the county.
It's garbage tourism.
That's right.
Imported in.
But when a county gets all those type of negative industries, it's because the county is just, nobody cares about it. It's kind of the armpit. I mean, we're the Cleveland of Virginia.
Well, there's no voters, right? So why care for the politicians, right?
Well, and it's like I said, even the people that get voted in, when you start off with a lower socioeconomic base and a lower education base to begin with, even the people that end up in leadership positions aren't that prepared to deal with, like the landfill company is Waste Management out of New York City, run by who knows, up there, and they come in here with
mob.
And they have $200,000 lawyers, and they got dark wolves on their on their law team coming down here.
They have much better people than Dark Wolf, I'm confident. They probably the same level of spelling acumen, though. Remember when he tried to spell Macaulay Culkin? I was thinking about that yesterday. I started laughing again.
I like it. He'll when he wants to talk a little trade, because you get that high text from AIM that comes in, but if you respond to it says the guy's signed out or some crap every time.
It drives me crazy. I tell him to stop that every time. I almost don't want to trade with him, because he'll come to my text and then you respond and it says Dark Wolf's not available. And then if you keep going back and forth with him, you have the set of texts where you're talking to him, and then this 8 or 9 that you have to click on every time so it doesn't say you have 9 new text messages. The guy drives me crazy.
Yeah, I'm completely on board with you.
Yeah,
it makes it hard to trade with him.
Dark Wolf, if you're listening, fix that, man. Just write us a letter, send a carrier pigeon, something. But and you're on AIM with your Do Not Disturb on. It's like the other day I was texting with Reds, and I sent him a text message, and he had an out-of-office reminder set on his text messages. It said, Bill is not available right now. Sent from my Windows 8020 Lumen. Shut the fuck up.
Oh, man.
So you, a little bit ago, you mentioned that you got married the second year of college. And so you went to a couple different places. You went to Virginia State. Mm-hmm. And did you get your master's degree? Or were you in the middle of getting it? You have it?
Yeah, I have it.
Woo!
I have it.
Look at Mr. Fancy Pants with his master's degree. What was it in?
Economics. Yeah.
No wonder you like the money side of CSFBL, huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
So when you got the degree, what was the original plan to go into?
I started to pursue the degree at the beginning of the recession. The recession hit the construction industry pretty hard. So I was getting it as a part of a backup plan just in case. We managed to make it through the recession all right. We had enough work backlogged, but I wanted to get my degree anyway, and but the recession had taken its toll a little bit, so I said, let me just get this backup plan and have it in my arsenal.
Well, it sounds like based on that thread you posted recently, you're still working that backup plan. Maybe making it more of an active plan, huh?
I am. I'm interested in doing more, but it has more to do with part of it is twofold. It's the divorce for one. So, I want to have a little bit more financial security than I have. Number two is the industry that I'm in, and for those of you who don't know, I have a small family business. It's a construction company. And what we do is basically commercial metal roofing and other types of commercial roofing. But we're not huge by any means. Small company, we'll probably do $750,000 to $1.5 million in sales a year at the most. That was before the recession. Since the recession, it's gone down quite a bit. But it's such a hard industry, so hard to be a subcontractor, a specialty contractor, because usually you either have to be almost like a boutique level one, where you're so specialized in your trade that you don't have any competition, or you have to be a $10 million a year company, so that way you have the administrative backup to be able to deal with general contractors and insurance companies and architects and owners who are coming in with a much deeper pocket than you do. So that side of it is the actual industry itself. I love the industry. I like roofing a lot. I know a whole lot about it. But the office and administrative side of it, hate it with a passion anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I end up spending all my time sitting around in the office, which is all right for CSFBL time.
Right.
Because I can always have the second screen on that, but it's a real damper on your morale.
You feel like your soul's coming out.
Yeah.
Sucking your soul, so it's time for a change. Yeah. I know that feeling intimately, so I would encourage you to find whatever your passion is, and or at least shake that soda up a little bit, and get things moving.
Well, the secondary stress of the job is that when you are basically running the whole show, you carry a little bit more responsibility for the livelihoods of the people you employ.
Absolutely.
And I only have 5 guys working for me outside of family members. But, in a trade like ours where you're weather dependent and job dependent on how many hours a guy gets, you start to carry the burden of, I don't have any work backing this up, and Christmas is coming around, and that kind of stuff. And you want to make sure these guys are going to be making enough money to make a living at it, because if you're not doing that, then why even be in business? So the appeal of working for a bigger company and being a smaller cog in a bigger company, there's a certain appeal to that for me, at least to, in the short term at least, recharge my batteries.
Yeah.
And make more connections and get out there in the world and instead of working for myself, let somebody else let me work for them and go from that angle.
But it's going to be tough to find in Waverly, right? You're going to have to.
Yeah. No, the job's not going to be here in town anywhere.
Yeah.
No. That I mean, I know my trade-offs. What I make financially is not a whole lot here, but the trade-off is that the amount of flexibility I have working in my family business, as far as time, as far as anything like that, it's unmatched. Nobody's going to give me the amount of freedom that I have now. So, yeah, if I want to make better money, I'm going to have to go somewhere to go get it. Luckily, city of Richmond is an hour away one way. Then you get down towards the Virginia Beach area, which is a big military industrial complex down that way. There's a lot of opportunities down there, a lot of federal type jobs if I wanted to apply for those that I could get into. And then that's not even counting the industry jobs that I could possibly apply for. But right now I'm being very picky about the jobs I apply for. So
yeah, as you should, right?
Yeah.
I was going to ask you something else about that. Oh, I was going to tell you that. I don't know if I ever told you that my uncle is a specialty metal roofing contractor. Did I tell you that before?
You did. You linked me his website one time, and I looked at it. Yeah.
Yeah, it seems to be he survived the recession too, when a lot of his competition around here did not. Actually, I don't know if any of them made it besides him. So like now it's great for business, but it was pretty scary there for a couple of years.
Yeah. We a lot of our competitors did go out of business. What ended up happening is, and your family members will probably tell you this, is that when you come out on the other side, You get new competitors that survived in related industries that are expanding their umbrella now because they need to grow to recover what they lost, So,
yeah.
And you'll get the guys into the industry that they don't, I tell people, it's that when you contract where we're contracting, where you have, you invoice monthly, you get paid 6 weeks after you invoice. I said, these guys that, have a pickup truck with a ladder that throws shingles onto people's houses on the weekends, they try to get into that kind of stuff, and they don't realize that from the day you jump on the job, it's going to take you 2 months to get paid, minimum. They can't survive that kind of stuff, so they come there and lowball it. But again, all part of the reasons that I'm jaded on the industry a little bit.
Do you get those, do you know who the travelers are?
The travelers?
Yeah, they're like, they're, for lack of a better term, they're gypsies.
Right.
And they come into town and they do two things. They do seal coat driveways and they do roofing. And they come in there and they just take advantage of old people and whatnot with shoddy workmanship. You get those people?
Yeah, we get the ones that come down here and they want to spray paint everything. They do, like, they'll paint barns and roofs and stuff, and they come in and they cut the paint in half with like kerosene, and they overspray everything, so every car in your yard has like silver flakes over it and stuff. Yeah, we get those a lot around here.
There's a lot of weird people, man. They're all over the place. You never think you see them in daily life, but there's just like bands of those people just traveling around the country, screwing people over.
Yeah, like storm chasers. The ones that follow hailstorms around the country, and they go in there and they try to get all the insurance work real quick, and then they get it and leave.
Yeah.
And then I end up coming in after the fact because they try to call them for the guy didn't install the roof right, and now it's leaking, but I called the guy's number and it's disconnected, and now I come in there and I tear them a new
it's
one.
bad when your contractor's using a burner. What a weird thing, man. What a gross lifestyle that is. It's remarkable that those people can live with themselves and just, that's just part of their hustle, and they justify it to themselves somehow.
Well, I mean, I tell people, you can shop by price, by quality, or by speed, but you only get to pick two of those things.
Yeah, 2 out of the 3. That's right.
2 out of the 3. So
yeah,
you always go for fast and cheap. You know what you got.
That's exactly right. So out there on the East Coast, I know you're a Mets fan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a Mets sweatshirt you got on? What's that patch on your left shoulder?
It just says New York.
Oh, New York.
Back when I was a little bit more of a hip-hop head.
Yeah, but you're a Mets fan, right?
Big time, yeah.
Yeah.
86 Mets sealed the deal for me.
I would make fun of you for still talking about the 86 Mets, but I still talk about the 82 Brewers, and they didn't even win the World Series, so I can't say shit. But you had the Subway Series too.
We did.
That was a fun series, but it didn't turn out right for you.
No, and it's hard to see. I mean, we've got a lot of things to look forward to right now. Got a lot of good young pitching on our team. Matt Harvey and Zach Wheeler and all these guys. Big power arms. Got the Norwegian guy down in the minor leagues. There's
a Norwegian guy?
I think he's Norwegian. Noah Snydergaard or something like that.
There's hope for my people.
That's right. He's big right arm, man. He's a big power arm. We got him in the R.A. Dickey trade. We traded him to the Blue Jays. Yeah. So
got rid of him at the right time,
didn't we?
Yeah. So. You mentioned the 86 Mets. I wonder, is there a World Series that's more well known than that one? Like universally, I think everybody knows what happened in that series, or at least 2 plays of it.
Yeah.
I can't think of another series. Maybe that Blue Jays one with the Joe Carter hitting the couple home runs, but I couldn't even tell you.
I remember the earthquake one.
The Oakland San Francisco one, right?
Yeah, that's pretty memorable for me. And the Blue Jays Braves one, where Jack Morris went against was it John Smoltz and pitched like a 10-inning complete game.
Yeah, I do remember that one too.
That was I remember seeing that game. I also remember, it hurts my heart sometimes. The Dodgers, when they beat Oakland, that one year when they had Oakland had Eckersley and Gibson did the
Oh, that was
walk-off.
the Gibson,
Yeah,
Yeah.
the fifth. And listen, I remember I'm sitting there, I'm watching it as a kid. It's getting late, and I think it was 2 outs when Eckersley was on the mound and had gotten the 2 outs real quick, and I turned it off.
Oh, no.
Turned it off. It's like, it's Eckersley. I was a big, huge Eckersley fan. I mean, I was like, it's over. Went to bed. Or turned the channel or something and came back, and I'm like, what the hell?
Missed maybe the greatest moment in baseball history.
Yeah. So the replay's not the same. So.
yeah, that's the weird thing, because when you think about the shot heard around the world, the Gibson shot, the Joe Carter thing, all those are for somebody doing something great. And that '86 World Series, you don't think about the great hit Mookie Wilson had, because it wasn't a great hit, and if I watch a lot of baseball, and I've seen balls go through guys' legs every once in a while, but it's never a big deal. And so it makes you wonder, did Bill Buckner choke, or was it just that one in 1,000 that is going to just slip through, and it just was the worst possible moment?
And I always think about that too. And I remember because at that time most of us were into baseball cards pretty good.
Yeah.
And I remember on the back of Buckner's card, he had a great career.
He did. He had a nice career.
I think he was almost 3,000 hits, and you never even heard anybody even sniffing around him going into the Hall of Fame. I think it's almost exclusively because of that play.
Yeah, and I just remember watching it in slow-mo, and his glove came down, and he was in relatively good position, and the ball just, I don't know. I mean, he should have made the play, but still, it's just, I feel bad for the guy, because he's like, he's Steve Bartman, of the players. Like, he'll just never be forgiven. And, they brought him back to Fenway last year, I think, and the crowd was really nice to him, and hopefully that gave him some closure. But, God, if that happened to a weaker man, that's something you just, I don't know if you can handle.
Yeah, that's and in Boston, people can be hard.
And he loved that town, it's just. Yeah. Did you watch the 30 for 30 on that?
No, I didn't.
Oh man, it is gold. You got to see the interview with him. He's such a man about it. He's so, he's had 30 years to kind of figure it out, but I mean, he's a lot of strength to deal with that. But when there was also, remember when ESPN did the show, The 5 Reasons That, and it was a show where it was like the 5 reasons that the '86 World Series loss wasn't Buckner's fault, and they showed what had led up to it. And I forgot, whoever their shortstop was at the time had an error earlier in that inning. There's a bunch of things that the Red Sox just didn't play well in that game. That was Game 6, right?
Game 6, it led to the Game 7.
Yeah. So I mean, it was, and then they had a whole Game 7 to win it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It was the Red Sox did everything they could to lose it.
Yeah.
So
But
it wasn't just Buckner.
Then again, the best playoff series I've ever seen in my life is when the Red Sox in 2004 were down 3 games to the Yankees, and they won 4 games in a row. That was the greatest baseball I've ever seen in my life. And then you forget that they swept the Cardinals in the World Series, so they won 8 games in a row, and you don't really think about that part of it, but it was just like they were just destined to win it. I consider that Cardinals World Series kind of like the gold medal hockey where USA had to face, was it Finland, after they beat the Soviets in the 1980? The Do You Believe in Miracles? People forget they had another game to play, and had to win that one too. So, anyways.
Yeah.
So, but we're talking about the greatest games ever played. You had a transformative effect on the league and CSFBL as a whole, because one of the greatest games that we've ever played is the Wolf game. And you were the one that brought it to TCL.
Yeah.
Had you played it before?
I did, actually. That at the time I was still on that the boxing site, and that's where I found it. Somebody brought it to the forums over there, they played it at a different pace than we did, and I mean that's years ago now. But it was when I saw how it brought so many game users from so many different, there's so many different profiles of game users that play the game CSFBL. You got the guys that they're never on the forums, or the guys that are only on the forums a little. Then you got guys that barely play the game, but they're all over the forums. And there's so many different profiles of guys. And what I saw on that boxing site was that it appealed to a wide swath of people. The appeal was there. So I said it might work over there. These guys are super active. Let's give it a shot. And it started out a little slow, but then I think it clicked for everybody what it was. And the first game was weak, and then everybody wanted to play the second game, and then it just kind of blew up.
Yeah, because that was like 2009 or something. It's been going on for a long time.
Yeah, it's
weird to think about it. I wish we would have kept track of every game that we've played.
I think it's as easy as sorting the forums by post views or posts or thread views, and it's like every game is in the top 25 threads in the history of the of TCL.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
And think about it, we don't even advertise it to the rest of the game at all. No. It's all the few people we get from the outside are it's just word of mouth.
Yeah.
If we started actually getting other people into it, who knows how big a game you could actually put together.
Yeah, that is interesting. I mean, we do get people outside of the league that play, but yeah, we don't really push it. Does Leg ever do a Wolf game?
No, they don't. But Leg is getting to the point where there's a good amount of overlap between TCL and that league. Yeah.
I don't ever leave the league. I have no idea who's in that. The only thing I know about Leg is that they stole our draft lottery. That's the only thing I know, because I have the video to prove it. It's rotten bitches. Who is that? No static.
No static. That's right. That guy's awesome.
I did that because he always had the dice as his avatar. I don't know if anybody got that in the video. They just thought I was jerking off, doing the 5-knuckle shuffle.
Right, polishing the belt.
That's good stuff. So, but you don't play in the Wolf games a lot anymore.
No, and it's mainly because I don't do well at them. Honestly, I mean, I get too invested in them, and I'm the kind of guy that it takes me 6 months to buy a DVD because I have to comparison shop every little damn thing. So for a game like that, where you have less than 24 hours to make a decision, and you have to reread, I can't. It's too much of a time suck.
Yeah. Oh, it is.
Yeah. I can't handle it. It's just too much. So.
Man, and it gets stressful too. I mean, the most stressed I've ever been has been in Wolf games, where like I'm just, and I get stressed as a Wolf too, because if I'm a Wolf, the thing that I try to do is still play as a villager, completely as a villager, so that it's as as not transparent or transparent, I don't know, one of the two, as possible.
Right.
And so I still get frustrated trying to figure out who the wolves are when I know who they are. When it's me, it's fucking me, and I'm screwing myself. I screwed myself bad a couple of games ago. I was a wolf, and I helped the village too much. I was like the opposite, I was like Reds. I have a rule. I've been talking about the Reds rule lately.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you saw it, but it is a rule that I'm employing, that if Reds is a good guy and has a well-intentioned, well-thought-out post, there is a 90% chance that the direct opposite of whatever he's saying is true. And I've proven this over time. In almost every Wolf game, when he's a villager, he has you can tell he thought it out, reread his post. But if you look at every one of them, the exact opposite of what he said is what the reality is. I mean, he has villagers nailed as wolves one after another every single game. He's awesome. I love that guy.
Your brain is like the spreadsheet version of extrapolating the Wolf games, it sounds like. That's the kind of effort I would want to put into it, but I would never do it. because like I said, I just invest way too much time into it. It would drive me nuts to know that those breadcrumbs are out there, and I didn't go look for them.
Well, and you know what I find myself inevitably thinking every Wolf game is, what if this was real life? And like, we were trapped on an island, and there were really villagers, and there were really, not wolves maybe, but like devious people, and they are killing people at night. We have to figure it out the same way we do in the Wolf game. We would be screwed because we suck as a group, man. We're dead.
Absolutely. We get snugged really bad, right?
Wow. So a couple times now you've mentioned Weeble, and I mentioned it on another podcast. I'm still trying to figure out. For some reason in my head, I thought that Brian had coded Weeble. Am I wrong about that? The boxing league?
Yeah, he had a gym over there, but it was a different Brian over there that actually, or Bruce. I can't remember anymore. It's been so long. That coded that game.
Oh, because that's what led me to CSFBL too, was Weeble. Somebody talking about it on the forums. Yeah. I had a couple boxers.
Yeah, I did all right over there, and guys like Ash and there's a couple still owners in CSFBL, Sanford, and I can't remember who all. Bo Fulgen was another one, and a bunch of other guys. And I did all right over there. I had, and I had the same tendencies that I had in CSFBL. I kind of got more and more social, and then tried to, sort of take a leadership role or help take a leadership role and try to guide things, and had a good time over there. Still have Facebook friends from over there that never played the baseball game. So, and my first private league over here was in CSFBL, was the Weeble-based league.
That's not around anymore, is it?
Still around. I think it's a 4-day. Yeah, I think it's a 4-day.
You're not in it though.
No.
I'm looking at your leagues over here. Oh yeah, I mentioned before the podcast to you, but not to everybody else. If you see me looking over here, I got this new pimp ass screen over here so that I could pay attention to more things at once. And I also have Pimp's beautiful face over on this screen, so don't think I'm ignoring him. He's over here too. So let's get into your franchise because I wanted to ask you some questions. The first thing that became very noticeable to me were the team names that you have. You have some very interesting team names. The first one that comes up is the Camelot Intos.
All right, well, that's the GOAT League. This is 10-year league is all it is. Peyton Fan built it.
It's new, right?
Yeah, it's a challenge league is all it is. He's got a scoring system and everything for all these accomplishments. We have 10 seasons to do the best we can, and whoever has the most points wins. It's great.
That's awesome. There's no tanking.
Yeah, there's no tanking. I mean, there is tanking. Cubs fellas in the league, so there's some tanking. But so anyway, and I'll put a little bit of thought into my names. I like stuff that people look at once or twice and they think, yeah, there's something funny going on there. But with that one, I tried to stay with a city and mascot theme. And there's a couple different things going on there.
Let's start with the obvious one.
The sexual innuendo, obviously. Camelot in toes. For the foot fetishists out there. If that's the first thing you saw, then.
Wait. Let me ask you. Out of all the guys in TCL, who do you think has a foot fetish or the biggest foot fetish?
The biggest foot. I would say. I'm going to say Reds.
Yeah, he seems like a foot fetish guy to me.
Yeah, I always think a foot fetish guy is the guy that's the most buttoned up in real life, tries to be the most buttoned up and straight-laced in real life. Those are the guys that...
He's just a toe sucker. Loves those toes.
Yeah, he goes crazy.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah. The only other guy would be Mac, maybe.
Mac? I met Mac recently.
Did you?
Yeah. When I was driving down to Austin, I stopped in Oklahoma City, and we hung out and met Mac and his wife. Mm-hmm. And I don't think he's a toe sucker. I don't know. I'll have to think that through. I would have said Ken. I think Ken might suck some toes.
He might.
Yeah.
He might. I'm gonna have to ask Ben about that.
Yeah, we'll put it on. I mean, they'll have a chance to respond after we get this posted.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah.
And then, of course, another part of it is that Intos is the name of an Indian tribe, and the Redskins thing was going on. I thought that was a little bit of funny there, and then that's basically it. And then I wanted it to be the first team on my franchise, so I'd keep a better eye on it, and so that's why the C helps.
So you put it up at the top.
Yeah. I'm enjoying that league. That's definitely. I like that what he's doing there, and I'm hoping that if it goes well, he does another one right behind it. This is gonna be like a year experiment.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
And if you go in there, there's a lot of talent in that league as far as ownership goes.
Yeah, so there's just the names that are jumping off the page to me. Wait, Cardboard Tube's in this league. Does he participate in this one?
Yes, and he's now the commissioner of remake. So
I saw.
Yeah, so he's running drafts and stuff, man.
I get more because I'm in remake too. We'll talk about that in a minute, but I get more PMs from Cardboard Tube than he ever posted in TCL. You're up in the draft. Yeah, you were up in the draft for 3 seasons before we kicked you out.
That's right.
So, yeah, but you got... and Clayton Kershaw is right after him. You got Cardboard Tube and Clayton Kershaw in the same division. Jesus Christ, I shouldn't even be looking at this. But, no, you got Smidius, Tino, McKilla. Joe Blow's in this league, too. You got them all, man. You got them all.
We got them all, man. We got them all.
Gadius, Boise, Deverus. I don't know how to say that. Is Deverus?
Sure.
Daniel Patton.
He's all right.
Yep. Ken, obviously. Moden. Yeah, that's a good group.
Yeah, and even there's one on there, Morocco.
Yeah, I haven't been. He's not in remake, is he?
No, he's an admin. I think he's definitely in. He's got something to do with us. Yeah, he's an admin, so he's a smart guy.
Yeah,
smart guy.
Cool. Yeah, that's a good league. So now let me ask you about this because I did some research. Because I'm a hard-hitting journalist on these podcasts.
Go deep.
Yeah. So your team name for leg is the Grafton Corruption.
Yeah.
Now there's a city in Virginia called Grafton.
Yeah.
And so I was digging in to try and figure out if there was some corruption in the political.
Okay.
Is that right? Am I onto something?
No, you're not. But
well, good thing I didn't research it for 2 hours last night.
No, I just honestly, it was a funny name to me, and it caught to me. I mean, obviously, graft and corruption are two different. Because graft is what whatever it is, running cons on people.
Oh.
Graft. Yeah, I don't know.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
I have to Urban Dictionary that one, but
But
so anyway, and then Grafton is a city that's nearby me.
Yeah, I know it is. I know all about Grafton. I was all right. So it says that to graft. Well, this certainly isn't it. Graft politics, a political form of corruption. It is the unscrupulous use of a politician's authority for personal gain. I did not know. Learned something new.
There it is.
Yeah, you nailed it.
Yeah. So I thought it was a funny name, a little play on words. So.
All right. So I'm just gonna mark you down that there is serious corruption in the Grafton government, and you don't want to talk about it publicly. We'll just leave it at that. All right.
Edit it in however you need to.
Yeah, I will. I'll edit in a little news story about the mayor of Grafton. He has a head in his freezer. All right. So now, on to the name of the Dirty Dozens team. The Liberal BJs.
You looked it up, right? Did you Google it?
No, I didn't Google it. No, I figured I knew.
It's a real team.
Oh.
And it's had a couple guys that have played in the major leagues came from it.
Really?
It's I think it's an independent league team or it's an AAU team or something like that in Kansas, Liberal Kansas.
I bet Barry Bonds got a lot of Liberal BJs in his day. Wasn't he the one? Never mind. I'm probably talking out my ass. It was David Ortiz. David Ortiz. Did I ever tell you the story about David Ortiz getting a blowjob from a transvestite?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to make news. All right. So one of my best friends in the world, when he was in the hotel business with me, and he went to work at the Ritz-Carlton in Chicago, right on Michigan Avenue. And the Red Sox were in town to play the White Sox, and they were staying at the Ritz-Carlton. They put him up in a nice place. Anyways, he at the time was working. He was the concierge working third shift, and about 2 a.m, this raggedy crackhead transvestite comes running out of the elevator from the lobby, and she's screaming for somebody to call the police. And so she's talking to my buddy. I don't think I've told anybody this story. She's talking to my buddy, and he's like trying to calm her down, because at first he thinks, how'd she get in here?
Right.
First, they have good security. It's the Ritz-Carlton. And she's just crazy. Shortly thereafter, David Ortiz comes down to confront this woman about the money,
right.
And they get into this verbal altercation, and the gist of it was that she wanted $300, he had paid her $100, and she wanted more money because he's David freaking Ortiz and he should be able to afford it. He drags her out. I don't even know why I'm saying her. It was a dude. I mean, it's a dude. He has a penis. And pulls him out of the hotel, and they continue the argument on the front sidewalk in front of the bellman. Police come up, they break it up, they get this girl out of there. David Ortiz comes back, gives my buddy some money, says, let's just keep all that to ourselves, which he didn't, because I know about it.
That's right.
And went back up to his range. It's long enough ago now. That was probably 2007 or 8. But David Ortiz. And then I looked it up on the internet, and all you bitches listening, you can Google it for yourself. There's a lot of rumors out there about him being into trannies and all that stuff, and I have firsthand proof. It's true.
Good gracious.
Yeah.
I'd be talking to your buddy, because he was the concierge. He's claiming he had no idea how she got in there, but that's his job, isn't it?
I don't know. I don't know how that works. I don't know how that hotel's laid out. But I mean, if David Ortiz comes in with the tranny, you let David Ortiz come in with the tranny. It's none of your business, if he's walking in. But I don't know. I don't know. David Ortiz is a big, scary guy. Maybe the only people that'll sleep with him are trannies. His penis is probably 22 inches long. That guy's enormous.
He might be.
Totally derailed this conversation at this point. What were we talking about? Oh, liberal BJs.
Liberal BJs. There it is.
That's the Dirty Dozens. That's the name of David Ortiz's penis. The Dirty Dozen.
Dirty Dozen.
Dirty Dozen inches.
Oh, that's great.
Anyways, moving on.
Uh-huh.
Minnetonka Saints. By the way, where'd that name come from?
All right. I Googled the Classic League when I first joined the league. I like to try to think a little bit on my team names. And there's a amateur league somewhere in Minnesota, I think.
Yeah.
That's called the Classic League.
Oh.
And the champions of the league for like the 2 years previous, this is when I joined, were the Minnetonka Saints.
That's awesome.
So, and matter of fact, I think at the time my avatar was the cap logo for the Minnetonka Saints.
You know where I've always in my head thought the name came from was about the time that you joined TCL, and you came in the 2001 season, I believe.
Yeah.
Was the Chappelle Show was out then, and the skit he did with Prince.
Yeah.
Where he's like, bathe yourself in the waters of Lake Minnetonka. I thought it came from there somehow.
I mean, that might have had, because, I was big into Chappelle at the time, too.
Yeah.
So that, the Minnetonka name stuck out to me anyway, so that might have sealed the deal for me. Yeah, but finding the Classic League somewhere and up there where all you guys were at, I was like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, there was a lot of Midwest guys. Yeah, that's cool. And then I'm going to skip over Remake because I want to talk about that a little more in depth. And then Oakland Orange Orphans.
Yeah.
Triple O.
Yeah.
I'm in Chi Beta now. I'm in CBF.
Oh, you are you?
You didn't know because I don't post a lot.
Yeah. I don't know where that name came from. I was like, let's use a color and 3 O's and see where it goes. The only reason I honestly took that team, the guy that owned the team, I think in its entirety before that was Captain Kirk. All right. Yeah, kind of some guys like him, but most guys didn't like him. He's kind of schizophrenic or something. But I hated that guy so much. And I always wanted to join Chi Beta before that, but I wouldn't because he was in there. I left the league before that he joined because I just couldn't deal with the guy.
Yeah.
So when I had the chance, and this is not the only time I've ever done this, when I knew he had left, I wanted his team. And I said, let me have that team. Because in my mind, I'm like, I'm going to take his team. I'm going to do great things with it that he never could do. And, it's petty and it's little and fuck it.
It's a great reason.
To a very selfish part of my soul. So I went for it. The other team I did that with is Glastonbury Wayward Sons.
Yep.
In a league to rule them all. And I joined that league around 1992. The guy that started that league was Horesco, Horesco. I think he was in Remake with me for a while. We had gotten into a real big fight over something, and he left the league and started this league, and that was his team. And when he left that league, I joined the league just to take his team.
Oh, so you've done it twice.
Yeah. And I took that team, and that's actually my most successful team in any league that I'm in.
Yeah, we were talking about that because of the record books that Smitty has posted. You've had some monster teams in that league. Yeah,
I've won something like 15 World Series in 40 seasons, but I also went to 8 other World Series and lost.
Yeah, your trophy case is full. I'm looking at it right now. My God.
That's also the league where I had the guy that got something like 1,200 saves, some stupid number like that.
And you have a good team right now.
Yeah. I think I've missed the playoffs like 5 times.
Your win percentage is .620.
Yeah.
That's like Durham math type stuff.
Yeah. That's like I said. That's by far and away my most successful team. But the league is set up in such a way it's a 23-team lottery. That's only slightly weighted towards the worst teams. Like top 5 teams can't drop more than 5 slots. So there's not a whole lot of value in tanking in that league. And then we change it to the draft wheel. So that league has that draft wheel. So you already know where you're picking forever. So you can tank if you want to, but you know where you're picking.
Yeah.
So
you like the draft wheel?
I like it. It makes it easier to trade picks with people because they already know what the pick is worth.
Yep.
Future picks, there's no gambling there. You're gambling on the draft list, which you would be anyway. So, but what it does is, because there's no value to tanking, if you're good at running a team there, that type of league setup rewards good owners more than it rewards bad owners. Because, you're still going to get, high picks, whether while you're winning. So we've got good ownership in there, too, for the most part.
Let's see, is Jelly in this league? He needs to get in this league.
No, he's talked about it.
There's a team that's available. It's called a team that's available.
Yeah. The last owner of that team was Rando.
Was it really? Did he get kicked out of that league, too?
He quit it. There's another owner in that league, P Stands, and they go at each other's throats. In the forums, there's a whole thread in the leg forums called Rando's Rants.
Yeah.
And it's just them two and a couple other people just getting at Rando. Just tearing him up, and he's tearing, because he can talk shit with the best of them.
He's good.
Yeah, he's got, I don't know, probably 24 videos of himself in there. Yeah,
I gotta check out this thread.
Yeah,
this
that's
like my kind of thread.
Yeah, he's like you if you were, completely off your chain. You know what I'm saying? It's pretty, So anyway, he had named the team something like P Stand sucks, Rando kicks ass, something like something stupid like that. And anyway, so finally he got Rando or P Stands had beat him in the playoffs last season, swept them in 4 games. and then beat them and then he beat them like 7 out of the first 8 games they played during this season. So Rando quit.
He broke him.
Yeah.
What is your take on Rando?
I don't mind him. Yeah. He doesn't bother me. He'll walk out on that plank on his own. You know what I'm saying? Heading off to the deep end, and he'll jump off the end if you let him. So I try, but I don't mind him being on the plank because he's entertaining to me. I think he's just he amplifies how he feels about things pretty hard. Yeah. So, but I like him, and I think he loves the game, obviously, because he keeps coming back to it. I don't know if it's for the attention or for the game itself, but
I got to try and get him on the podcast. Yeah, I think he'd be an interesting person to talk to because I think it'd surprise some people on the type of person that he really is versus what he portrays as this pissing, crying toddler sometimes. He's not really like that. He does exactly what you said. He'll walk the plank, but he's not scared of jumping in the ocean either. Like he'll just drown himself, and I don't know why he does that to himself sometimes, but he's just a normal guy when you talk to him.
Well, like I said, I'm friends with him on Facebook, and he don't seem that outrageous to me.
No, he has all these. Did you see the videos he was posting recently of him babysitting, and he took these kids to Burger King, and he's playing around with them? I mean, that's just like something a normal big brother does, and I don't know. I like the kid.
I like him too, but he can, like I said, he can get off. He gets out there on his own sometimes.
He's not safe to be left to his own devices. No, he needs a big brother of his own hanging out, looking out for him.
Yeah, but check out the Rando Rants thread over in Leg.
I definitely will. So the other league that you and I are in together competitively is Remake, and we've both been in Remake for a long time now. But you have if I had to pick all of CSFBL and say what's the most storied franchise in all of CSFBL, it'd probably be the Yankees in Remake, and that's your team.
Yeah, and got it by chance. I can't remember who had it before me.
Aztecs had it.
Yeah, that's right. And I don't know. It's an easy team to win with. I don't know if something's specially coded about the team or something, but
it's weird, right?
Yeah. I'll bring players in, and I've had players on that team that I just thought were garbage. And they end up having these seasons where you can't explain it. I've got a catcher right now. He's got like 95 contact, 90 batting average, but 95 contact. He is killing it.
Yeah,
just killing it. The guy's name is Brandon Decker on the team, and it doesn't make any sense because if I put him on any other team I have in any other league. Now the only thing different about Remake Yankees for me than anything I do in other leagues, Remake makes you have to take the stadium settings of the team.
Yep.
And my stadium settings are usually the average settings in every league that I'm in. Matter of fact, I remember when I first got into TCL, I did a stadium change the first season, and you questioned it because I think I added 8 foot to the outfield, maybe.
Yep.
To the depth, and you're like, "What the hell are you doing?" These are the settings I play with.
That's what I do.
Yeah. I play with neutral settings and go like that.
Yeah, so. The Yankees, on their banner page, I mean, you're working on the 4th line of division championships, the 3rd line of conference championships. I don't know how many that goes across, probably 15 or 20. I think it is 20. So, yeah, I mean, working on plus 60 division championships, it's crazy.
Yeah. Well, it got a lot easier. I used to be in my division. I used to have Jar and Ken in my division at one time for about 10, 12 seasons, and it was just brutal. Ken, I don't like being in divisions with Ken.
I don't either.
I'm post-traumatic about it because we used to be in a league called TAB, True American Baseball, and that was one of his big-time dynasty teams. And I was in the same division with him, and it always happens to me, and I'm in a division with him. He ends up dominating the division. And I end up having these dominating teams that are probably second best in the league, but my trophy case looks like crap.
Yeah, because you're always against him.
Yeah. So. But, Remake, yeah, I'm only in Remake anymore for the nostalgia of it.
Yep.
I've missed I've not set my front office money right for like 3 seasons in a row, and things like that. I mean, I have a pitcher over there, William Schaefer. God, I love my TCL pitchers, Frank Watts, and all those type of guys.
Did you call him Frank Watts?
Yes, I do. Everybody else can call him Francisco. I call him Frank.
Frank,
right?
Yeah. Yeah, he was born in New Jersey. He wasn't, yeah.
But if you look at Schaefer, he's over 1,000 in linear weights now.
Yeah.
And he just popped up on one of Smidius's top 100 lists. He had a postseason where he started 5 games and threw 5 shutouts. So I love that guy. And I'm holding on to him, seeing because he, the thing about Remake is the team history book is littered with those Sean Ruddick, Jason Vargas type guys. And this guy has a chance to be the 3rd winningest pitcher in Remake history.
Wow.
If I can get him, I think it's 375. I think I got to get over. And in a league like Remake where it has all the pre-CFAT stuff and all that kind of stuff, any type of career accomplishments are a big deal there to me. So
yeah, I agree. I'm looking at right now. I actually switched over to TCL to look at Francisco Watts, and is he your favorite player of all time?
He's in the top 5.
When I look at the career pitching leaders for Minnetonka, he leads that team in wins, losses, strikeouts, walks, innings pitched, games started, quality starts, shutouts, complete. I mean, he's on top of everything except for ERA, Luke Turkasm, and saves, obviously. Other than that, he owns the whole thing. It's crazy how good he is.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and what I like, and this is what I love about the game, guys like Jar and Piggy and Sugarwall, when he was in there, they hate Frank Watts.
Yeah.
Jar hates Frank Watts, and I love that.
Yeah.
That's like, if I have a player that because, at the end of the day, I think there's plenty of great players, like, because, if you look at Frank Watts' ratings, it's not any more special than than a lot of other elite players. But, to be able to drive it home to make somebody hate that player because you groomed them over a long period of time.
Yep.
Love that stuff.
Yeah, you had another guy that I actually didn't like. I don't know why we don't talk about him much, but God, he drove me nuts whenever I played you, James Velasquez. You remember him?
I remember him, yeah.
Yeah.
I always thought he was going to be so much more than he was. He had great ratings, but he was consistently like 40 homers, 110 RBIs.
Well, he leads your team in almost, a lot of the legacy stats. Singles, doubles, triples, RBIs. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And leading over some pretty impressive names. I mean, that's from, a lot of those names are from my first, those three World Series win type teams.
Yeah, let's talk about that. There's part of me that was just going to avoid this topic, but I think we got to talk about it. Mm-hmm. So, you came into the league in 2001. Mm-hmm. Now, let me tell you about me when I came into the league at 1981. I didn't know my head from my ass. I had a lot of losing seasons. I struggled. I was in pain. Mm-hmm. I had to learn how to play the game by copying whatever I saw Clone doing. And finally, about 2001, 1999, I spent the whole thing in the hospital because it was when I broke my neck.
Right.
And so then when I came back, I couldn't be as active anymore, so I had a lot more computer time. Mm-hmm. So I got really good at the game. And in 2005, I won my first World Series. I actually bought a bottle of champagne, drank that whole. I sprayed it all over my house for real too. Like I shook it up.
Right.
I didn't put up the Visqueen though. Like I just shot champagne all over, and then I won again. Mm-hmm. Both times I swept in the World Series, and then I won again in 2007. Just 7 seasons after you came into the league, you were playing me for the World Series in 2008, and you beat me. And then you and I played for the World Series again in 2009, and you beat me again.
That's right.
And so there's part of me that, like, I didn't really know you very well. You had only been in the league like 6 months. I did not like you in the league because I was going to win the World Series like 7 times in a row.
Right.
And it was because of that 2008-9, really. And then you went on a run of 3 in a row there, too.
Yeah.
That was a good team.
And then if you look right behind that, Clone did 3 in a row right behind that.
Yeah, we had 3 in a row.
Yeah. Yeah, that was back when there was like about 5 teams winning the World Series, and that was it.
Yep.
For a good long period there. So.
And then if you look, I came back, though. I went to 4 more World Series, or 3 more. I beat DPRK, and then they beat me, and then they beat me again. So I think that was the only time in history that we had the same 2 teams 3 years in a row in the World Series.
But yeah, that was good times back then. And after my 3 in a row right there, and Jar likes to bring it up because he's the one who did it. I didn't get into the playoffs the next season.
Yeah.
It was because that season. It was just a dog. I think I had 100 and something wins.
I think there was 4 teams, wasn't there? It was like even Tempe was up there too.
Yeah. Poor Tempe. Yeah, dude's had it hard forever.
He's had it hard. He's had some good teams too. I think he had a 100-win team that didn't make the playoffs.
I think so too. But like I said back then, that season I won 100 games and finished 6 games out of a playoff spot. and then Northfield CK's team, so that would have been, who knows, 92 wins in 4th place.
Northfield was...
That was Jar had the team, so before that would have been Croco.
Yep.
Wow. Yeah. That's about right for Croco. Finally wins 92 games, finishes 4th.
Yeah. Yeah, Croco had it until the 2039 season.
Yeah. But
we got to update this thing.
Yeah, it's pretty bad right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have anybody that wants to do that kind of work anymore.
Yeah, what are we going to do there? That was the other thing I wanted to talk to you about. What are we going to do with the leadership of the league? It's kind of just being run in spite of itself right now, but no one's really taking control of it.
Well, I don't know what to do about it. It can't be bringing in another guy where he's in Chi Beta and Leg and some other league like that. It's got to be somebody that TCL is going to be their number 1 league. And unfortunately, it's hard to find those guys anymore because we've never, I don't know if it's that people don't want to, as new owners, apply to the league and try to get in or what the deal is. But to find that guy that wants to be dedicated to TCL, it's kind of like we're just running through the guys that have already been here. And it's, we're all, transitioning in how much we play the game. And, I wish I could do more stuff, but I just don't have the motivation anymore.
Yeah. I think there's there's a combination of things. Number one is, the game is stagnated think about it. TCL is going on 10 years now. And, the games that are basically the exact same as 10 years ago. Think of how much technology and gaming has changed in 10 years. And then we're all 10 years older too. So all of us that are 40 years old, we're 30. So we're at different points in our life as well. And then there hasn't been a big influx in new blood, not in our league, but in the game, just because the game hasn't evolved much.
I think the most 2 recent waves of what I would call new owners. When we started to reach out to the email list, we had a lot of old owners come back to the game, and you saw that. I mean, there's guys that were gone forever, like Rockman and Cardboard Tube and guys like that, and a lot of guys came back and tried the game again. I've seen 6 or 7 old veterans come back at least, and I didn't count the ones that just came back and went in the public leagues. The influx before that, I thought, was right around the time Chatbox came on. There's a whole group of guys that came in around the same time Chatbox evolved.
Yeah, the Lego owners kind of exemplified them, didn't they?
Yeah, and a lot of good owners out of that group, but they know the game well and all. But none of them ever want to come into TCL because TCL is not a chat box league. Never has been, So we never get those guys. And I don't know what would change things. But we need somebody that wants to come in and, like I said, I don't even know who to target. to bring into the league anymore. You know, we've had some good gets recently, but we've had some bad ones too. But you know, when I say recently, I'm thinking guys like I remember when Trent came in, and nobody knew who he was. You know, I knew who he was. You know, he came in the league, and you know, I think he's a great owner in the league.
Oh, he's one of the best. He doesn't get enough credit. He never tanks. He's always in the hunt. Yeah. He's an asshole for beating me in the playoffs this past year.
That's good. You know, and when he posts, I mean, he doesn't post volume, but he posts quality.
Yeah, he hits some home runs.
Yeah, so yeah, you know, he's one of the better additions we've had recently. I expected more out of CK, but you know what? We got him at the wrong time. Yep. He's a college kid now. You know, we needed him when he was 16, but he wasn't good enough for the league then. So.
Yep.
So I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, but we got to find some fresh blood for sure.
Yeah, we do. So while we're philosophizing about that, another thing I was going to mention is I sent you a message yesterday because you were posting some lovey-dovey shit about women on Facebook. I don't know what. I just couldn't resist it, so I just wrote dislike.
Yeah.
What the hell are you talking about? Because I was so. And then I sent you a message like, did you just post that to piss me off? You know I don't like talking nice about women. But recently you've been posting a lot of philosophical stuff that has really been hitting home with me. And so I sent you a message. I said, did you sneak down to Peru, go do some ayahuasca when I wasn't looking? Because some of the stuff you've been posting has been like very like we are everything and we are nothing. Type really introspective stuff about yourself and life. Where's all that coming from?
Part of it was the divorce situation and the initial separation. Because when I first got when she first broke it to me that she wanted to get a divorce and get separated and all that stuff, I kind of went a little crazy on Facebook for a couple weeks there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was posting, you know, and once I settled down a little bit, you get into this mode where you're, and I think anybody that's been separated or divorced goes through it, where you get into a self-improvement phase, you know, and so that was what's going on with me. And as I got into that self-improvement phase, I started to read more and not read books, because I don't even have the time to read full books, but reading a lot of snippets, reading a lot of, you know, Wikipedia articles on different people that I didn't know about and existed, and getting different points of view on things. And a lot of it was hitting home with things that I already knew about myself anyway. You know, in general, I'm a trusting person. I believe in the kindness of people. I believe that the media and people in general hype up the dangers of life too much. That life is not nearly as dangerous as people want you to think it is. And so as I started to get in touch with that kind of stuff, that sort of self-improvement, soul-nurturing type of stuff, I just kept reading more and more of it. And then I decided I just wanted to, the stuff that I thought would resonate across a lot of the people that I know on Facebook, I just started sharing it, you know. And I pull from a lot of different sources, but and I hate to be that guy that you get the people on your Facebook pages sometimes that their whole Facebook existence is to share other people's shit. You know, I share this quote, I share this video, I share this, but they never write their own stuff. So I try not to do too much of that. But if something I haven't read before and I think it would touch somebody, I try to write it and I try to post it.
No, you shouldn't stop doing that, because when I've gone through a lot of phases and a lot of times that's how I'll stumble on something new that I didn't know existed. An author, or recently I've gotten really involved in appreciating interpretive art, and that's why I bought a lot of art recently. And I find out a lot of that stuff just by people posting things. In fact, like the most recent painting I bought, it was just in the background and there's a quote over the front. I was like, get that quote out of there. What's that painting in the background? And I went and found it. And so keep posting that stuff. A lot of times it hits right at the right time for somebody that's reading it, and maybe you won't even know. But I firmly believe in it. And not in a hippie way, or in a karmatic way, but just really, truly, the more goodness and positivity you can push into the universe, it does come back. And it doesn't come back because of some mystical karma. It comes back because you're constantly putting yourself in a position with all the people around you of trust and of love, and they know that that you're not judgmental, and they know that you're helpful, and they know that you're supportive, and then they reciprocate that back. And so it's more of a snowball effect of positivity is good begets good. And so the more of that's why I try and do it as much as I can, because it always comes back to me in one way or another. By being selfless, you can be selfish. I think they have a symbiotic relationship in that way.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, I believe selfishness is a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Selfishness, it's just a matter of where you're taking it. I mean, at the end of the day, you're doing things that benefit you. If your focus is on financial selfishness, you're going to lead a very shallow life. If your focus is on, relationship selfishness, you're going to have a hard time being in a good relationship. But when your selfishness is to become the best person you can be, or to become more evolved each day in appreciating and empathizing and sympathizing with other people and their experiences and things like that, I think that that's the type of selfishness that is good for people in general. That leads to self-growth and wanting to become a more self-actualized person. What I noticed once I got separated was that I had become very content with who I had evolved to become at about the age of 28, we'll say. I was a smart guy. I was in a good marriage. I had my kids. I had my family company. Everything's kicking off at a nice rate, and I kind of got into that mode of, you know what, if it ticks on off, and then suddenly I'm 65 and I'm sitting on the porch with my wife and, playing with grandkids, I'm cool with that. But at the end, part of this process lets you realize that every day you're not growing, you're dying, And so now that I have the chance that I feel like I've been awakened, I want to delve into the parts of me that maybe I haven't given enough attention to. I've always been a real logical guy. I've always been a really smart guy. I'll go 90% all the way in on something. That last 10% I've always held back because, to give that last 10% of yourself to anything or anyone is hard to do. And I'm working on getting into that last 10%. And it feels good. It's uncomfortable, and getting outside your comfort zone is uncomfortable. It's supposed to be. But I'm enjoying it a little bit more every time. So, and just kind of have to see how it goes. Now, what I want to try to do is, the only thing I worry about with myself right now, and I'm probably being too frank about stuff, but I worry that the lack of having somebody near me all the time is going to cause me to jump into a relationship at times. Mm-hmm. Because I do believe that there's a need to be physically close to people, and I don't necessarily, and then that's not a sexual thing or anything like that. That's, I mean, there's there's chemicals in the brain that release just from touch, from hugging, from whatever, So I'm worried that because I don't have that, except for when I'm, around my kids sometimes or whatever, that I'm going to want to replace that, and I know I don't need to replace that. But that's the logical part, and then there's that, like I said, that deep human craving that. And I don't know. Like I said, that's. I got a lot going on in his head right now, so. Yeah,
you're hitting on like a big thing that causes problems for a lot of people is where the importance of that relationship is, because you hit exact on it's vagism.
It is.
But joking aside, the the dopamine release from just being around and interacting with somebody is very powerful. It's like heroin addiction, you know. I mean, it is something that people crave on a very deep level. And the problem with it is if it's not perfect, then you find yourself in a situation where you're making emotional deposits, but you don't get any withdrawals. So you're constantly giving some of yourself. So in this goal to complete yourself more, you're actually losing more of yourself.
Right.
Yeah. And I was going to say something else about that, but you're really hitting on a important topic here because right now you're talking about your self-improvement. And the one thing that I found in my journey over the last year and a half is I can have goals, and it's good to write goals. My entire life I've been told, write down your goals. And I changed that over the past year and a half where I didn't have any concrete goals because I realized I was always staring at an elephant without knowing how to eat it. And that would just cause me to procrastinate on the whole thing. So as opposed to focusing on the destination, I just started enjoying the process. And then I found that the process is this life of its own. And as long as I'm just enjoying the one step ahead of me, and that's the only thing I'm focused on is whatever's happening tonight or tomorrow, that eventually somehow all this great shit's happening. And I don't know how it is or if somehow setting my intent has made the universe bring it to me, but just focusing on that has made me far more successful with any of the other shit I've tried previously in life. And I think you're going to find the same thing too. And I think, you're doing the right thing by noticing what your potential pitfall is. Yeah. And keeping that in mind so that you don't, make that mistake.
Yeah, like I said, I'm worried about it. And honestly, a part of it too is when I was younger, I was very selfish when it came to relationships because I was a teenager and it's all about me. It's not me. Get yours, I'll get mine type thing, And now I'm trying to be aware that just because I'm attracted to somebody and they're attracted to me doesn't mean that they want the same thing I want. And you have to be aware of what they want enough so that, what I'm saying, that's I guess part of it is, for instance, I've been dating a girl recently a little bit. She lives too far away for it to be serious. All right, but I see her twice a month. Okay, and the distance is what is good, but I know that she's not ready for something serious. I know I'm not ready for something serious. That's why I know it'll work all right. But I find myself constantly trying to temper her expectations. And eventually, she was like, "You're gonna have to stop doing that because I know what we are, And I don't know. I find that I worry. Maybe I worry too much about other people's feelings and what they want, and maybe I need to just let them be responsible for their own feelings. But I don't even know where we started on this one.
No, it's good. It's good that you're forthright, though. I mean, just get it out there early because as much as I love women, like their natural instinct is to nest, and so even if they quote unquote know what's up, they'll eventually forget what's up. Yeah. And so I think you're probably you're doing the wrong thing by getting involved even 2 days a month. Let me get that out there. But you're doing the right thing by tempering the expectations.
Yeah, and like I said, I don't know where things are going with anything right now, but I don't know. One of the little things that I read was, as long as you know your feet are pointing in the right direction, don't worry about how big the steps are.
That's exactly right. That's what we were just talking about. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Well, and there's this great YouTube video that talks about that, where it's like, how long does it take you to get from point A to point B? Well, it depends on which way you're walking, right? And so like if you start off just a little bit off, it's going to take you a long way. But if you're starting off on the right path, you could be crawling like the turtle and make it there, quicker than the rabbit. So. All right, so we got deep. We could probably talk about that for a few hours, but instead of doing that, we're at like the 1 hour 44 minute mark. So we can start wrapping this up. But I wanted to give you a chance to say anything, get anything off your chest, anything we haven't talked about that you wanted to make sure that you snuck into this thing. If you want to call somebody a silly bitch.
No, I don't think we have too many silly bitches. Not anybody that's silly of a bitch enough that I have to call them a silly bitch.
Right.
There's very few people that are in the game that I interact with that I don't like. Most of them that I didn't like throughout the years are gone now. So, so it's not a big deal. Even a guy that rubs a lot of people wrong, like a Loloquy. I mean, me and him went at it hard one time, back when he was in Remake. But after a while, I came to appreciate his point of view. He's very contrarian.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? He's pretty devoted in how he does that. So I can appreciate it a little bit. So, I get along with most people.
You know who I really like that's a big contrarian too is Anathema. Yeah, like he I think commits himself to whatever the contrarian viewpoint is. Like that, he's just kind of an outsider by nature. I need to get him on the podcast too. He'd be a good guest. I think he'd be an interesting guy to talk to.
I think he would be too. I'm a fan of his as well. He used to be a little bit more into the game. He's a little less into the game now. He's just kind of going through the motions. But between what he understands about the game and his views in general, like you said, on life and things, and he's pretty well read, and he's intelligent and all that good stuff. So I've enjoyed all my interactions with him. So there's only a few people in the game that even get on my nerves anymore. Brando gets on my nerves to a certain point. Because you can just tell he gets to that point where
he just can't be dealt with.
Yeah, he can't be dealt with.
Yeah.
He got to sit his ass down or something. But other than that, though, I remember when I first started interacting in TCL with Clone. Clone didn't like me at first.
Oh, really?
I don't know if it was at first. I don't want to say that. I was trying to bag on him the way everybody else would bag on each other in TCL, but it was at the same time he was going through that back stuff.
Yeah.
Is having some trouble, I remember he said something about he can't even pick his kids up and stuff at the time, and I was just getting on him about his back pain or something. I can't remember what it was. He just kind of.
He was so miserable back then.
Yeah, and I caught something. I thought, well, then, in my mind, I'm like, well, fuck you too, then, So, but after meeting him and all, and getting to know him and seeing what his personality is like, it all makes sense to me. So
yeah,
like I said, I'm pretty good about getting along with most people. It takes me a little while to warm up. I start out pretty safe and slow, and then I think I remember when we met Joke out there in Minnesota. He told me, he said by the third day I was opening up a lot more. I was quiet at first, and that's the way I get, unless I'm drinking.
So, do you know who you took your team over from in TCL?
Yep.
Metal Pal.
Yep.
Oh man. Speaking of guys that I was not a fan of. There wasn't many people I didn't like, but God, I wasn't a fan of Metal Pal. He's still around.
Yeah.
He might have been one of the people that came back because of that email blast. Or was he always around?
He never left Chi Beta, I don't think.
No, he was always in Chi Beta, yeah.
So he always kept that team. He got away from the game. He wasn't as involved in the game for a while, but he's back. He's kind of back now pretty good. Most of the stuff I know about Metal Pal is all secondhand. Mm-hmm. It's old stuff on the forums. He used to do a lot of crazy shit in Chi Beta. They've got fucking rants about him in there. And I guess he knows him and what's the guy's name over there that owns Worcester, Comfortably Lom.
Oh, yeah. He knows him in person.
I think they know each other. I think they're brothers.
Oh.
Or something like that, and those guys, and I think BRH and all of them have gotten together and met up that way, and Snoog, I think maybe, I don't know. I get everybody mixed up nowadays. I tend to generalize things a lot, but yeah. So that's like the whole Boston contingent is what Chi Beta is. So
and Trickett's out there too.
Trickett's out there. Yeah. Miss Trickett. Trickett was competition wise one of the toughest owners I've played against in the game.
Yeah.
I've got a top 10. Like guys like where I put them like in Clone class. It's Clone, it's Ken, it's Trickett, it's Smidius. Those guys, geez, Trent actually, you could put him in that list pretty easily too.
I would.
And then there was a guy in there was a league called NABF, and it had an owner in it that had some ridiculous win percentage. It was lesser competition. And I joined the league just to go head-to-head with him, just to see what he was about. But everybody's always like, he's basically on his way out. And like, I think I was there for 3 seasons, and he was gone. And then I was like, yeah, I'm leaving too. Because
I noticed when you were talking about all the great competition, you didn't even mention me.
Because you're a tanker banker. So
oh man.
See, but I say that lovingly because, and Rando's a good example. Rando is, if you think Jelly hates tank and bank, Rando is Jelly on steroids.
He put it in his signature.
Yeah, he's gone. He's off the deep end on that.
Yeah.
I used to kind of take Jelly's perspective on it. I've taken a lot less so now because, to me, the tanking part is what it is. Anybody can tank. I said, but there's actually a skill to banking it at the end.
Huge. You still have to build a team. You still have to make trades. But there's one problem that's not going to ever stop tanking. And I think tanking is the wrong term because tanking implies that you're intentionally trying to lose games, which isn't usually what happens. Like with my cycles, what's happening is, I'm trading for value, or I'm trading value, and I'm still hitting all the minimum win percentages, but I just don't have a good team. But I'm not trying to lose games necessarily. I'm struggling to win games still and make the win minimums. And as long as you're hitting the win minimums, I don't think you can call that tanking because you're still playing within the construct of the rules. But I think the bigger problem with it is the reason that it's not going to go away anytime soon is there's no injuries.
Mm-hmm.
The scouting is almost a guarantee as to what you're going to get. Mm-hmm. And so you can fully scout players, so there's no surprises and there's no injuries. So that means people are getting draft lists or picked in the draft almost exactly in the order that they should in good leagues. So there's no way to get them unless you're actively trying to work talent. And you see how Jelly tries to do it, and he's not winning right now either, but is in the trade thread, he almost bullies people into trades. Like every year you see him say, I can't believe this league sucks. Nobody wants to trade. And he tries all these tactics to trade, but is that any better or any worse than better draft picks? I don't know, because he's still getting top 5, top 10 draft picks. It's just he's bullying his way into it in trades. So what's the difference?
Well, the only slight difference I'll say is that in general, tanking or fire sale strategy or anything like that doesn't involve any activity.
Right.
It's nothing to just, CK right now. You might consider it tanking, but he's going to lose if he doesn't, unless he picks up the pace. He's going to lose games for the next 3 or 5 years, and he doesn't have any reason to post because he doesn't care about trading and all that kind of stuff. At least with Jelly's strategy, it's generating activity. Trade activity, form activity, and that kind of thing. I don't have a problem. I don't have the problem with tanking banking. I don't like the really blatant stuff. I don't like it when a guy is trading 31-year-old all-stars for second-round picks, that kind of stuff. Where I don't care if you're trading off talent, as long as you're getting back value in return. That's close to value on what you're trading away. It's when you start giving away and fire sale. The way Kaz used to, he could. Sometimes he would just burn the thing down to ashes, But he would also build it up within a year and a half. So,
he'd be back in 2 years. Yeah. But he was also, and we talked about this on that podcast, he was committing an inordinate amount of time to the game, whereas just chewing up his personal life.
Yeah. But I don't mind. And I tell anybody that's never won a World Series, tank and bank your way to a World Series. I told Reds that when he, stole that one World Series.
He did steal it too.
He toted the hell out of that World Series. That's why I say Reds must be a good coder, because he made his team win the World Series somehow. Anyway, calm down. But I told him, I think right around that time, I said, look, if you don't, a lot of people respect more, things like Jelly do, or it's like I do, I guess, and try to stay a winner all the time. But I said, if you want a World Series ring, go get it the one way you know how. Now, once you've learned how to win, then learn how to win better if you want to, you know. But I like to see the tank and banks where the guy is down for 3 years, 4 years, then he's up for 15.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That I like that. That's the game for me. But.
I mean, tank and bank certainly is not a guarantee because there's a lot of guys I could point to in TCL, and I'm not going to blast them here, but they're tank and banking, and they've never won a World Series. You know, so it's certainly not a guarantee. You still have to build a good team and make sure you have. You still have to cover, you know, eight positions.
And sometimes, you know, the other advantage some people have, and I have that advantage, is I'm around the forum so much, I can jump on opportunities that some people miss. You know, I missed one the other night because Daniel Payton was going to trade me that 92 range shortstop in Moreno for 2 firsts or whatever it was. And I think he had agreed to it, and then I'd already gone to bed.
Yeah.
And the next morning, Joke's in there, you know, and offering picks and stuff, and now Moreno's gone, and he doesn't want to trade the shortstop. So I lost an opportunity because I was sick and broken by
Let's talk about that trade for a second, because I got a little confused by it. So Moreno's a 41-year-old guy, but he's probably still close to, I don't know how close he is to max. I didn't really look at him. But he got traded for Cardenas, a number 1 overall pick who's 37, but he's dropping off a little bit, but he still had a good year last year. Right. And a first-round pick. I don't think I've ever seen a 41-year-old guy go for a first-round pick and a serviceable pitcher before.
I don't think Moreno's all that great anymore. I mean, he had a decent season last year. I wonder, and I don't know if Joke has scouting or not. I was going after Moreno to be like my number 4 starting pitcher. Number 4, number 5 starting pitcher. Somebody that's going to help guarantee that I get a playoff spot more than anything else.
That's what you were going after Luther Roberson for, though, and he ended up winning your World Series.
Yeah, well, but he was still like my number 3 starting pitcher.
He was your number 1 guy. I saw him in the playoffs. He was awesome. I love that guy.
He's awesome, actually. Yeah, you know what? He is the afterthought of the talented crowd of pitchers that he came up around.
He finished number 2 in the Cy Young for like the last 6 years we did the voting. It was so frustrating because he was always so awesome, and he never won a Cy Young, voted on Cy Young.
Yeah, and if you go look at the career numbers for the league, he's there. He's all there. Over the place.
He was awesome.
I like that. And people don't value strikeout control pitchers very well anymore. I love those type of guys because they can dominate with a good defense. They reach an elite level that 5-side pitchers can't reach, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, so some of the best pitchers I've ever had were power control pitchers. But, Luther Robertson, I liked him. I hated cutting him or trading him or whatever I ended up having to do. But you know, when I start ranking you and you're my SP4 or SP5 and you cost $4 million, you got to go.
Yeah. I
can't afford the hit. I can find another SP4, SP5, usually off the free agent wire. I picked up Jefe Garcia this last season. Right? And he was 39 last season. I think he ended up having a sub-3 ERA for me over the season. It was pretty nice. So, but yeah, the shortstop issue that's the biggest thing for me right now. And I thought I had him.
Yep.
30-year-old,
slip through your fingers. And there's no guys like that in the league anymore.
Oh,
there's no high range shortstop. I shouldn't say there's none, but there's not many. They're valuable.
I mean, look, Jelly's up here with a 77 range shortstop. He's trying to get a late first for, and he could probably get it.
Yeah, he's gonna get it. Yeah.
You know, because even I have to consider it because my shortstop's got a 73 range, and he's getting ready to retire sooner or later.
I have a 77 range shortstop that I just brought up this past year, and I remember when he was in the lows, I had the low minor tool. I was going to transition him to second base. And now looking back on that, I'm so glad that I didn't do it. But because he would have been at 84, 86 at second base, he would have been nice. But God, I had nobody to replace him with, and nothing came on the horizon.
Yeah, I mean, Larry Motel ain't coming through that door, man.
Man, you did not just do that. Is he still named Larry Motel? You got to change that back.
I am not changing that back.
That is rude.
I love that. That's my favorite thing. I forgot that I did it and forgot that I didn't change it back.
Damn it.
Love it.
Shit.
Love it.
And you know what? He came through in Jar's game, fakebb.com, as Larry Motel. And I saw him. I opened up a pack of cards, and Larry Motel came out. I was so pissed off. Like, are you kidding me? Larry Motel.
Shit. That's what's so great about TCL and the game in general. These actual emotions are created from this fake,
Shit. Fake people. They're not even. There's not even an avatar of these people. They're just a player card. Mm-hmm. But I can name 5 guys where you'll get an emotional reaction if I start talking about them. I'll have you name your 5. Mine are probably Patrick Gray, Johnny Roundtrip, Kendall Ford, Willie Waltz. Oh, God, I don't even want to name a 5th because I can name a bunch of guys. But I'll tell you one of them that's about to be it is Rufus Mickelson. That guy is a son of a bitch. He's going to be the best player for years. Have you looked at his player card?
No.
Second year, last year, he had like a 1.124 OPS. He had 64 home runs. Oh, he's 23.
Mm-hmm.
He is going to be in people's nightmares. And I get to call him Rufus on Fire. So I can sing the roof is on fire. I get it. I sing it every time he hits a home run. I love that guy.
I've got a player in leg that I drafted a while back, and I traded into the number 1 pick. Okay, and I don't remember what the trade was for. It was good value. I gave the guy good value on the pick, and the list dropped, and it was like God reached down and made a baseball player for me because this guy it was like 98, 50, 99, 98, something like that. For the hitting. I mean, this guy put up, in his prime, his 3-year, 27, 28, 29-year-old season, 1,300 OPS in a league like leg, where guys know what the hell they're doing.
Yeah.
But and his last name was Mullet.
You can't script that. So he looks like somebody from the '88 Phillies.
Yeah.
Remember that team? Or was it the '88 Phillies? The guy with John Crook and Lenny Dykstra?
93, wasn't it?
93?
Maybe. I don't remember. But Mitch Williams and Kruk and all them guys.
Who was the second baseman on the team? He had a nasty little mullet too. Little guy. I don't remember. But yeah, Dykstra, mullet.
Mm-hmm. Darren Dalton.
Dalton. That might be who I was thinking of. He had a nasty one too. That team was
I think
gross.
He had a permed mullet maybe. I can't remember now, but yeah.
I think Mitch Williams still has a mullet.
Mm-hmm.
John Crook still has a mullet for sure.
Well, was it somebody described Mitch Williams said he pitches like his hair is on fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then and then in the same sentence they said, and Rick Sutcliffe pitches like he's pitching out of a lawn chair.
Yeah.
that quote always stuck with me. But my emotional attachment players in TCL, well, Frank Watts, because Jar hates him, and I love that Jar hates him.
I love that you keep calling him Frank Watts.
I love that guy. Yeah, because I could put him in the playoffs, and I hate Gregory Guerrero because I traded for Lino Lloyd.
Hey, you're pounding on the table or something. I'm hearing that really loud.
Man. I traded for Lino Lloyd. I got Lino Lloyd, and he had this fucking Gregory Guerrero guy, and I'm going against Clone. And for me, going against the great owners, head-to-head, when I have my best and they have their best, that's the pinnacle of the game for me.
Yep.
GG went 147. Lino Lloyd went 147. I won 3 of the 4 off games, and GG beat Lino head-to-head 147. I remember Bill said something like, well, you should have started Lino in Game 7. Blah, you should have started the other guy. I don't remember who it was.
You always start Lino Lloyd.
I was like, dance with the one who brought you. That's what my dad always told me. He said, you dance with the one who brought you. I got Lino to be the horse. God damn it, he's going to be the horse.
Pounding, I get.
And what I hate too is that Clone left right after that, just about.
Yeah.
And then he only came back for so I've never really. I went head to head with Clone for like 6 seasons or something. I can't remember what it was. Yeah, I didn't get my vengeance on him, man. It drives me nuts.
All right, so you got Frank Watts. Who's your top 5 most lovable
guys? Well, it's Frank Watts. I love Juan Wilson, the hitman.
Yeah, Juan Wilson was awesome.
Love. And then I trade rape joke with him. Who else was there? Steve Brownlee. He was a shortstop I had way back then. Range only shortstop, got him from Tron for nothing. He hit like a walk-off home run in Game 6 of the World Series, I think, to win the World Series. Just a nothing player for most guys, but I loved him to death. Kevin Brantley.
Yeah, Kevin Brantley was a monster.
He was a monster at the time. Let's see here.
No James Velasquez, huh?
Not James Velasquez. I never really. He always disappointed me because his ratings were so much better. I mean, he got plenty of stats, accumulated a lot, but he just never really hit it for me. And that'd be the biggest ones in TCL. I like Isaac Watson that I have right now.
Yeah, you should like him.
And I added an extra T to his name, so he would be Watts' son. Yes.
I did not know that. Did you tell anybody that you did that?
Yeah.
I didn't even notice.
I think it's in the player. I think it's in the request trait or thread or whatever it is. I think it's the only name change I've done besides when I got Lloyd Good's name changed to Art Modell.
You know what? I'm so glad you brought that up. Why in the F did you do that? That is the worst name change in league history, with the exception of too many walks.
Well, I mean that's not my fault. That's Afro's fault.
Because you made a bet, right?
He did a caption contest, if I remember right. I think it was Russell Westbrook looking like he was, hulking out or something like that, and I wrote something. And I didn't think I was going to win it. And he said, whoever wins it gets to rename a player in my low minors. And he's already in my division. I was already kind of on that. I just started doing a thing with him where I was picking on him about, living in Cleveland. I think I had a team in TBE named Mike Vick is from Cleveland. So when he gave me the chance to rename a player, I saw Lloyd Good, and I said, who would a guy from Cleveland hate? LeBron James had just left. I think the options were like King LeBron, Modell.
Yes, it was. Yeah, and I remember very specifically I said that I told Afro that he needed to exempt Lloyd Good. Mm-hmm. That was his name, right? Lloyd Good?
Yeah, I think it
was.
Because
he had such a good name already
mm-hmm.
that you should not allow anybody to I was so mad about that rename. It was the worst rename. And then I ended up trading for that guy. He turned into being one of the best pitchers in league history by a lot of metrics. If he had more EN, he would have been the best in league history by a mile because he was unstoppable.
His big four ratings were like all in the 90s.
Yeah, they were all ridiculous. They were all 93 plus, if I remember. I mean, it was crazy.
When you look at the greatest pitchers in TCL history, and you look at all 5 ratings, if you count endurance as one of the 5 ratings, all of them have 4 ratings 90 plus, and then a 5th rating that's like 50 or 60. I mean, Taylor, Gray, Harold Cole, all those guys. Art Modell was the only one where his flaw was endurance.
Yep.
Everybody else had a flaw in the pitching category. His only flaw was endurance.
Yep.
Even then, he still pitched 200 innings late in his career. That's 2 ERA or something like that.
Yeah, he was incredible.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to wrap this up, but I'm going to give you a chance to go out with something a little bit fun. I want to go out with the ghetto snipe. So I've had a lot of fun with this comment. I don't know, did you ever put it in the Urban Dictionary?
I didn't. Feel free if you want to.
We still got to, we got to do that. Where did it come from?
I don't even know.
Because you said it. You said something to the effect of mow them down, or I'm going to go mow down a couple of ghetto snipes, or you should go mow down some ghetto snipes.
Yeah.
The whole thing was funny. Mow down is funny.
Yeah.
Ghetto snipes. But where did you just make it up?
It was just every now and then. Usually my brain's pretty jumbled up, getting my thoughts together and stuff. But every now and then I get these moments of clarity where something comes out just right. Sometimes
that came out just right.
Yeah, and I mean, even sometimes I'll even sometimes write a few lines of something, and it'll just I can explain stuff really well. But yeah, it was I think at the time I remember I had heard the term. Somebody had called somebody husband a trailer tramp. All right, and then I think something came from some of that a little bit, but because this is like my wife's family talking about a mom talking about her daughter's husband.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, you got there's some ghetto ass people, that I associate with, and I don't know where ghetto snipe came from, but it came out. It's like that sticky sweetness comment way back. I don't know. It just like I was thinking, most people talk about they're going to start eating popcorn. I know that I was thinking, well, what if it was like Fiddle Battle or something? That sticky sweetness, whatever. You loved it. So.
I loved it. You know why I loved that so much is because not only is sticky sweetness just funny, because it's kind of gross in a way, like depending on how you think of it, but then you ended it with a smiley face, and we never used emoticons ever, and then just out of nowhere, you just end it with a smiley face, like you're so happy about the sticky sweetness. And something caught me about that. It just killed me. I was laughing about it for days after that. And the worst part is, I think I was working at Chula Vista then. I tried to incorporate it into conversations, like, oh man, this creme brulee is sticky sweetness, and then smile at people, and then I'm the only one that thinks it's funny because I'm talking about creme brulee, and they kind of get it. No, I'm doing it because it's gross.
Oh yeah, like I said, and honestly, I will write anything that comes into my brain sometimes. And just weird shit will form, and I don't know, something. I throw it against the wall, and it sticks. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I've had some failures too on some of the stuff I've written out there, but I don't care. So.
Not there. All right, man. Well, thank you very much for taking the time. This is going to be officially our longest podcast, I think. Max ran pretty long too, and we split it into two. But I'm not doing that shit anymore. We're just going to throw it up there, and great conversation. So. Thank you very much. Any parting words that you want to leave the crowd?
Nothing in particular. Just hope everybody sells me all their good shit so I can win this belt.
Championship belt on the line. Let me show it one more time. Boom. That's what it's all about this year.
Sir.
All right. Kiss
all right,
it.
Wash my belt before you send it to me now.
I will. Yeah, I will. I'll shine it up pretty for you. All right, everybody, that is the end of the podcast. Thank you very much to my guest, Bigdbpimpin1. Thank you all for listening, and I hope you all find love, satisfaction, nourishment, and most importantly, that you go fuck yourselves. Bye.